Welcome back to the Willis Podcast. Yeah, y'all know what it is. This show is a little special. I'm housing, you know, a whole lot of feelings. You got to talk about the uh, the untold legacy of Black American institutions and builders. Oh man, yeah, my pops is in town. Yeah, y'all ain't gonna see that. He sleep. He out of here. But we had a phenomenal day. A lot of um, a lot of things that were really intriguing. Intriguing. So when you get to understand, when you Black American and you understand how your daddy is accomplished, you were accomplished, good and for bad and for everything in between. You understand one thing. Damn, they are accomplished. There are some things that you can always point out, and there were always things that will always be poignant because, like, who has ever done something like this? And then, in the times when these things were done, who had the skill sets to do it? That's my pops. He was an electroplater. Okay. Pops was a man, super being, like electroplater. I bet y'all don't know what that is. A person that can build certain parts for helicopters, motorcycles, anything that can sustain and move forward through without any adjustment. That's what my pops was able to do. That's chemically, physically, and a way of being to where if if it wasn't perfect, it was on me. Like if it wasn't orchestrated the right way, like it was supposed to be, it's like, oh shit, I can't put that out. I can't. If I put a bad product out, that bad product will be something that somebody's not going to make it on them because they signed up on it. They're going to say, well, who made it? That's it. Who made the substance? Who made the setback? So, one thing I do know about uh, being a Willis, and I know first of all, I want to take time out, and I want to give a shout out to my family members, like Cincinnati, my pop side, because we're talking about skill sets and how skills are able to pay the bills in any form. Then we got to go to Pensacola, my birthplace, first and foremost, because everything that comes out of Pensacola was, again, skill sets and how you were able to get to that next level. That's male, female. That's when I knew that I knew my people. And some people have advantages and some people don't give a shit about what can be an advantage. They give a shit about their spiritual advantage, their physical advantage. You can't coerce them into being something else. They just evolve into something else. Big difference. Totally different type of person. You can't make them. They are them. Like me. I've created because I have participated into the likeness of understanding those type of equations. You can't act like somebody is something that they're not when they will tell you that's not who the fuck they are. Okay. That's the fact. That's how it is. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. I'm on TikTok too. What's happening to my peoples? I am not accepting a whole lot of uh interims because I need you to understand what don't understand how to not do one thing interrupt intelligence. Because when you interrupt, oh, GCs, now you can come back. You've been in on with me. Don't do that. Don't do that. I need a witness. So come on in here, and I invite my other folks too. Don't but I need GCs up here with me. Like, don't you? But you know what it is, pimping. Come on, what's happening? I'm gonna invite my other folks up here. But what's happening? Yeah, with my folks, I need my peoples up here with me. There's a lineage. All my folks. I just need y'all to understand one thing for real. Miss Lucky, Money Sister. Yeah, for sure. Man, you get invited. Anybody that want to come and share and understand certain aspirations of how your beginnings are, you should want to join into the Wilderness Podcast. But let's keep it focused because I ain't got too much longer on the actual show because I need people to understand what the actual show is. Okay. So the thing is, people don't want to understand who they are and what they are because they ain't never been orchestrated in how to be as a being. Now, that's a whole lot of responsibility when you think about how some people. Let me show you something. Let me show y'all something real quick. Be easy. Be easy. Be clear. Be easy. If I show a person this book right here, hold on, let me make sure y'all can see it the right way. Okay. If I show a person this book right here, they'll say, "Oh, if Ramesses the third ain't he African?" Well, no, he's American. See, that's American. The father of ancient America, because he said, "I have the last thing to show these Africans were pilgrims too. They ain't know no better. A lot of them didn't. But when I show you this book, you say, yeah, like I wrote the book. Like, yeah, like I'm the only one that's seen what I seen for myself. Like, that's crazy and wow, right? Like, that's crazy. How you gonna think, like, just because I own the book, I'm the writer? But see, you would take a person that see this book, okay, and they'll say, well, how the great people would say, well, have you ever heard of I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Like I say, I show people better than I tell people. When you see this book, you'll think of what was the relationship between America and Africa? Very stunning. What was the relationship like? Did they have a relationship? Of course we did. We're melanated people globally. But, you know, when you have always wanted something in your back pocket to say, well, it's like a big brother with a little brother, and the little brother says, well, just because you're bigger than me don't mean you better than me. And the big brother be like, I ain't just better than you. I defeat you. And we like, oh, don't are you so sure? You're big. I told you again, I'm gonna tell you again. You're big, but that don't mean you better. Africa. I'm an Aboriginal. I'm an Indigenous American. I'm one of them people that got that DNA and that color that just so happened to be indigenous enough to say, well, goddamn, Africa don't own DNA. And everybody ain't from Africa. So I refuse to even go with that out of Africa narrative because Europeans and Africans signed treaties with each other. They always known that. It's like we just make every dark skinned melanated person just like I am. See the European wanted to be the standard. He wanted to be the standard, so everybody got to come out of Africa, according to him, because he came out of Africa. He's the Grimaldi. He is the one that Dr. Francis Cress Wilson say, we protected that. We made sure beings were a being because we won't leave no human being out of the construct of humanity. Then we'll tell you this. We'll say, guess what? Like these people don't give a shit about nothing but how to conquer. Well, they were built like that. They were built to conquer. If you look at the Yakub story, if you can read the the origins of the constructs of these people, they were built to overstate what construction actually is. That's what those people do. They say, "Oh, I can do this, but I also have to allow this to happen in order for me to be more effective. So I got to do more destructive things in order to be the better version of myself." Damn. Wait a minute. So when you tell them when you got melanin, you don't need to be destructive because you need less destruction to operate. You don't need destruction, but when you are less melanated, you need more vow participation, vow things to happen so that you can have room to mask your real interpretations of what really is and how you see it. See, that's a big difference. God, shit, man. That says, "Oh, I don't need much. I'll let you open and go back into." And you got some people that say, I don't have an interest in going back into the fold. I have an interest in rulership, and I have an interest in being destructive. I have an interest in being. I like to take my anger out on people because I can't help it. Europeans, not only Europeans, Af- Africans, they need to feed. They gotta have a substance to feed upon. Even Africans, they need a feeding mechanism. They say, well, I can be a conduit. No, I can see you. So if I can see you, that means you can't be a conduit. That means you can't do and get up how you want to because you say, well, I'm close enough to those people that with everything that we have been taken from, I can continue to take from. And we say, if you, why don't you challenge yourself and think that you can get off with that right now? You can't because your diabolical behavior has been exposed. See, the problem is it's like this. Like, to be honest with you will never find a black American that will hate anybody that's affiliated with the family. Those affiliations with the family are just because they have one thing in common. I'm in it. That's it. So they have to become, and this is what we know, foreigners say, well, I can figure out how not to. I figure out how not to integrate, how not to be capitulant, how not to love, how not to be understanding. But you think that black Americans call all foreign people tethers. That is a very destructive way of distributing your point, knowing that you may be the tether, but because somebody has the same uh construct that you say, you don't know their construct. So you think that everybody from outside of America is a tether. That's not true at all. It can't be true at all. That would make people's adoptions illegitimate. Is for legitimacy when it's done the right way. Suited, better represented communities that identify as who they are because that's the only thing that they know. And you're gonna tell them they're not them that they can't be American because they was born from somewhere else. Well, it's a whole lot of Americans that I know that may have been born from another homeland, but they are far more American than some people that have thought they were suitable to be American and were born here. You may think that's a perplexed type of ideology, but in all actuality, that's an ideology. That's not real. The real ideology is who understand the factual constructs of truth and the factual constructs of untruths. That has nothing to do with color. It has nothing to do with landmass. It has nothing to do with anything that you motherfuckers think it has to do with. It's crazy, ain't it? When you can lie, cheat, steal, beat, and annihilate a situation and act like it didn't exist and act like that did never happen, that never happened before. Understand who you are on this landmass. This is America, Jack. This is America, Jack. Like, think about it. From a real specific place. Listen to me. Some people are organic. Some people don't even know what organic means. And there are other people that, regardless if they are organic or not, they are just real. They just know how to be who they are. You choose. It's always been your choice. But that's the Willis Podcast. I ain't never wanted to give you too much or too less or nothing that couldn't be a favorable stream and an interchangeable perspective. Everything has a voice, a light, and a vision. But if you don't have it, you won't even understand how this could even possibly exist. Let me read you a few excerpts from this book, My Ancestry, Part 3. Gods from morning to midnight. At the beginning of time, the waters of chaos engulfed the world. The bird flew up out of the waters and broke the silence with a crackle. This is how Egyptian myth conceives the first sound of earth. The Olmec Water Basin depicts the bird rising on the water and in the mouth wide open with thoughts crackling. On either side of it is the look like hills of unbridled water, surely a graphic way of describing the waters of chaos. The basin itself is a form of a duck. Could it not be the Egyptian god? The greater crackler. At any rate, the Mexican picture is an exact rendition of an Egyptian text as one can describe Sahagun, in which men jumped into the water and began to crackle like ducks and other birds. As This was during the course of the festival, and it compellingly recalls of Egyptian book, the Book of the Dead, the Book of the Book coming by day. That's what they call Book of the Dead, Book of the Book coming by day, which says the crackle like the Shmen goose on the festival of the great being. Another monumental basin of the Olmec dates leads us to once again back to Egypt and to the beginning of the things. The enormous stone basin was planted in the heart of the step pyramid in Totimi Huacan, Totimi Huacan, near the Puebla, one of the earliest such structures in the Americas. All right. So I don't mean to disturb people for who the fuck they think they are, or even wanna be. That's not my that's not what I try to do with this podcast. I just try to give you the absolute truths of how you should stop looking left and right and look up and down. Let me tell you, places that are perfect. Thailand, first come to mind. My brother, uh, Maurice Sanders, he wants to spend, he says, for the rest of his life, he wants to spend about Maurice Sanders, my brother. Yeah. He's from South Carolina. He's an Aboriginal American through and through. He says, I want to spend about 5 months in Thailand and like I ain't missing the States, but I know there are terrain and people that kind of like I'm all right with. So I'm like, I ain't got no problem. Like, bro, that's what you want to do. That's nice. Because if we stop looking left and right, we look up and down, we understand one thing. Melanated people, look up and down. Look up and down. Now, we ain't gotta flank each other. We just gotta say, are we settled with each other? Have we been through the same things? Have someone seen something before our complete understanding of how we can really be progressive as a whole and not a half of people? So you got to stop looking left and right, look up and down. I use Thailand as a version because I've never seen people more upright, dance, love, appreciate, accept, no nonsense, and they are favorable to who they are. But every culture has an ink. If you got the person with the money that say, and they say, well, I see you too. So you got, you got a lot of Euros that go to Thailand and they love them beautiful sisters. They love them gorgeous almond and dark, lower Asian, progressive minded people. Work out, do all of they like to take. They like to take. And they can also take the greatness and beauty out of anything what do? You beat it up a little bit. You take the value out of it. You implant yourself and you started making a lighter version of the nation. And that nation says, no, Thailand be like, I like being dark. But you ain't gonna get so much darkness out of lightness if you just keep on searching for something outside of yourself. Thailand is a forerunner of a good space because they have a lot of good people that run. They got a lot of good renditions that run it. So because people love the people, they can't help but love the people because of who the people are. It's a big difference. You can't say the same thing about other places because they don't have that long running history of hospitality and being hospitable. Be clear and let's be real about every situation. Being nasty to other nations, being nasty to yourself, being nasty to how you want to even orchestrate or deal with other people, they see you, they understand you. It ain't never gonna be a favorable situation because they understand how not to be and want to be anything like the nasty person. So, um, I'm gonna give you one more good account because I think people need to understand the differences between Black Americans and because they love to equate us with West Africans. Let's take a little walk down memory lane. Is how we never had treaties and they did. Okay, so this is not to be nasty; it's to be efficient. I have to be efficient. I'm sorry. So this not to be this just let people know how not to make these same mistakes again and walk down these same paths again. All right. So purebred, carnal. Oh, anyway. But whose authority in all matters relating to the ethnology of West Central Africans still remaining incon- incontested, although 50 years have now elapsed since the wonderful series of travels and accomplishments in a tribe to the Gabara, the origin relationship between North Africa, which they were born of the traditions of the Hawassa themselves, who trace back to the descendants of the Dagara mother, the Gera, of the Dagara beginning in the Berber tribe, which now remote period was predominant in the city of Darura of the oldest centuries of Hassa influence. In the day of the Hassa, Malumps speaks vaguely in the former relationship in the East. Canaan Robinson, during his stay in Kano, that was informed by the most learned man in the city and okay, that the Hausa migrated earlier times far east beyond Mecca. It is much deplorable that the connection in the national records of the houses should have been story. The Fulani at its taking of Casino. All right, I want y'all to understand two things from me reading that lesson. How the fuck you think we don't know y'all? We studied y'all. We had no choice. We act like we were supposed to be a subject of y'all, and you didn't have no place for us because you were steady gazing at us like this when we knew we was the Michael Jordan of melon. Black Americans knew we was the Michael Jordan of melon when y'all just stayed there. What we gonna do next? Okay, that's it. All right, that's the Willis podcast tonight. I appreciate y'all. I love that you tune in. I love that you understand it in a real particular place where I'm coming from. I know history. I just like to give it to you from a very distinguished place so that we don't have harsh arguments. That's fair. I love for y'all to come to me. I love to be challenged. But you got to do it the right way if you're going to really try to challenge me. Anyway, so with this podcast, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. I love you so much. I continue to want you to do one thing, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know what you want to talk about. we can get to it. I have enough commentary, history, and everything that I need to get done in order to take care of your fantasy. Anyway, this is Willis Broadcast. The will is go easy, be peaceful. And no, if you ain't got it like that, go learn it. Let me try.